What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Acts of Creation. And on this week's lesson, we look at ways to create your own chord voicing. So what we like to do here on this channel is take some kind of musical concept and look at ways that we can incorporate it to our riff writing, our guitar playing, and our songwriting. And this week I want to talk about bar chords and specifically how not to play them. Alright, so what we're going to do here today, we're in standard tuning. Alright, and if you want to follow along with the transcription or the tabs, you can find that down below in the description. While you're down there, please don't forget to subscribe because we do this weekly. Alright, so we are in standard tuning and we're going to do some very simple chords, and we're going to talk we're going to hit a couple little ideas that you can incorporate here. So this idea is basically centered around the key of D, and we have these chords, right? We have nothing spectacular there. All the chords are in the key of D major. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to strip away all those bar chords and we're just going to play the thirds of those chords. And how do we do that? So if we take this minor bar chord in second position, the middle finger and the first finger root, the bottom note, those two notes. Now you've taken that interval and you've spread them out, and you've also removed all the extra notes. So now you have this very specific, clear chord. It cuts through, and then you can add stuff in between all the space. Okay? And it sounds a little more intimate rather than a big bar chord, right? So here's the idea. Ready? Very simple but really fun and creative idea. We're going to take that D major scale fragment and we're going to play 2, 4, 5, and you have a minor chord, major chord, and that idea is going to repeat. Okay, so you have a minor chord on 2, move it up a whole step to 4, minor chord, move it up a half step or 1 fret to 5, and now it's major. So the middle finger has been the chord, the third. That's the note that makes the chord major or minor. It gives it its quality. So if we have to make it major, that means we have to raise this by 1 fret. Then we have that chord 5 and 7. So it's 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 5 and 7. And that spacing repeats starting on the second note of the scale, which is 7 and 8. Go up a whole step, 9 and 10, and then a half step to 10 and 12. So I really like using these chords for a couple of reasons. One, you identify and target small sections of a chord scale. And that's really, if you're going to come up with a riff, you kind of bounce back and forth between this small little area rather than going all over the place. And attacking small areas of the scale allow you to kind of do that. Another thing I like about it is that it frees up other fingers, right? So you can easily start moving that upper note around, and you can start exploring other notes to add to that chord, regardless of whether you know the notes on the fretboard or the notes of the chords themselves. I can start slightly altering some of these chords to create movement in between them, and now I'm starting to create my own chord voicings, right? We got to start at the bottom, so we might as well start here. It's a great place to do it. Let's talk quickly about the little fills that I did in between, right? So the first one I did was just simple harmonics. Okay, if you don't know how to play the harmonics, they're natural harmonics. They happen on 5, 7, and 12. Take any one of your fingers and play directly over the fret itself, unlike if you were actually going to strike a note. So over the fret and don't push down, right? Just lightly touch the string. So I'm just going to go cross between B and E. So it's B, E, B, G, B, G. 7, 7, 7, 5, 7, 7. Harmonics are always great to throw in. The second fill I was doing was I was coming up here and essentially adding this note to a D major chord, right? So I'm cross stringing 14 on the B and the 10 on the high string, and then grabbing the 14 on the G string, and then harmonic on 12 right there. And there you go. A fun, simple way to explore new chord voicings, start building your own, and familiarize yourself with how the layouts of keys work, right? So like I said before, if you want to follow along with the transcription, down on the below you can find a link for a PDF and Guitar Pro. While you're down there, please click on the subscribe button because we do this weekly, and as always, let me know what you come up with. So until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.